Hello everyone, I am back once again, this time with a little review on the Marvel Legends Gamerverse Wave Spider-Man 2 Peter Parker with the black suit or the symbiote suit. Now here we are, so I rotate him around to the front. There he is. Now before I move on to the box, another quick PSA. Yes, the Road to Jurassic World Rebirth is still going. I just decided to do something a little bit new and something to kind of sort of take a break on. And I do have a Moon Knight stop motion in the works. I just haven't had the time or the motivation to even edit it. So once that's done, it will be uploaded to YouTube soon. I'll probably do the same thing I did with Bloody Winter, except I probably won't release like the video unlisted. So who knows? But yeah, that's that. Now moving on, of course, to the box of the figure. It's a very simple squared box, which is what they're now doing with Marvel Legends instead of the usual round sort of boxes. This one is squared. Very nice colors here. I really love the spider logo at the back. Peter Parker black suit. On the side, you get the figure. You get a shot of the model in game. On the other side, a bigger shot of the model in game. On the top, Gamerverse. On the bottom with the UPC. Pause that if you need it. And then over here, here we have the back of the box. Looks very nice. Kind of reminiscent to the Spider-Man 2 video game in of itself with the little skins you can unlock. So yeah, that's the box. I won't really discuss too much about this figure in terms of my little history, other than initially I was going to buy this on Amazon, but then I canceled my pre-order on Amazon because they were taking too long and because GameStop decided to get them early. So I got it at GameStop. Boom. That was like really quick. And yeah, I gotta admit, this figure is not bad. Even to many other people just have been hating on this thing, and I honestly don't really find the reason as to why. And I find the actual reasons to be kind of stupid. Now, is it worth it? Well, let's go and discuss that starting with the painting and the sculpting. Alright, the painting and the sculpting on this guy is just amazing. It's magnificent even. And it kind of amazes me that, you know, why didn't Hasbro take this much effort to actually make the Advanced 2.0 suit right here and make it into like a brand new figure instead of reusing the Renew Your Vows body? Because as you see right here, this is a brand new sculpt and it makes no sense. Now let's start off, of course, with the head. And yes, I have been playing Spider-Man 2 and I absolutely love it. Now, of course, let me just... There we go. Okay. Sorry about a little mishap, but you could see right there how nice and sort of glossy it is. I love the eyes, and I love the fact that this head, there's like subtle parts and little sculpt work on it. As you can see right here, there's sculpt work at the back, and overall, it looks really nice. One thing I really love about this suit in the game, and this is just more of a compliment to the game, is that it doesn't feel like Peter is wearing just a simple black suit. He is wearing like a full-on alien with separate parts and everything. Like you could see on the side of his chin right there's separate parts, and you can see again on the back of his neck. And I really love the sculpt work too. You can see the subtle sculpt work here besides just the obvious parts over there. And yeah, look at that armor and look at that spider logo. And what's great about this is that this isn't painted. This is sculpted on, which is amazing. And look at that. It's so nicely well done. You can even see the sculpt work on the abs, sculpt work on the chest. And then look at that, the arms. It looks very accurate to the game, and the painting overall is just very crisp. I had zero issues involving paint chip or anything. And as you can see, no paint chip on the hands. And even more, these little white strips of, I don't know what these look like, arrows. They're nicely sculpted too. They're sculpted, not painted, which is awesome. But yeah, look at the sculpt work on the arm. Hopefully it shows on camera, but look at that. And you can even see there's little parts of sculpting there. And I'll be honest, like, sculpt work is just amazing to me more than paint, to be honest. And this figure shows that. If you can get a figure with an amazing sculpt, then it probably solves all the problems I have with the figure. And that's what this one has. It has a great sculpt that it doesn't look ugly. You can see the ridges and the little lines here and the cracks and everything, that it just looks very, very nice. Overall, the proportions on this are really good too. Not too big, not too small. And overall, it's just awesome. I love everything here. And even the feet are different. They're not just simple black feet. They're actually somewhat sculpted, if you can see on camera. Little lines and everything, and you can even see it on the back of his calf. And you can even see the lines on the front of his calf. And yeah, look at that. It's so nicely well done. That's what I love about this figure. It's so well done. Now, of course, as what one person mentioned, and I honestly didn't have a problem with this until someone mentioned it. Yes, this figure isn't as glossy as the CG as the model in the game. So you see on the poster or in the box, it's incredibly glossy. Here, it's somewhat glossy, but not too much. Now, as for that, now, of course, that is very true, and that is a bit of a problem, but it doesn't really annoy me. If it annoys you, then that's something to consider when buying this. But overall, the sculpt work, again, I just have to mention the sculpt because it's so good, and it's not just because I love this design and this iteration of the black suit, but I just overall love what they did here. Hasbro really just proved themselves that, yeah, they can make a new sculpt. They can make a new body, and it just kind of proves the point that making a new Advanced Suit 2.0 figure, you don't need to repaint that figure. You could have just made a new sculpt like this. So yeah, it makes no sense. But let's move on to the accessories. Spider-Man comes with a pretty good array of accessories, except this stupid thing here. I'll get to that later. But he comes with your average Spider-Man hands. So, as shown here, 2 fisted hands right here. 2 wall-crawling hands, or as I like to call them, wallies. And he also has a pair of tooth-whipping hands. So in reality, excuse me, he has the same pair. He has basically what every Spider-Man figure should come with. No question, no debate. Every Spider-Man figure should come with these pair of hands. 2 pairs of thwippies, 2 pairs of fisties. Well, one pair of fisties, 1 pair of thwippies, and 1 pair of wallies. It makes no sense that Spider-Man figures don't have this, and it really, really pisses me off. Now, as for the other accessories I mentioned before, he does have this tendril piece, which is very nicely sculpted, and actually differentiates itself from the original tendrils that you usually get because of these little strands and everything, although I could be wrong. But one thing I really am bummed out by is this little handle here. You see on camera, of course you can't really see there, as you see, there's a handle. And as I mentioned before, with the accessories, you don't have that. You don't have a gripping hand. So, like, all it does, really, in my opinion, all it really does, if you're telling me it's like, if it works like this, then that's just stupid, because this thing, while it's cool, it's wobbly, it's flimsy, it's ugly. Look at that. It can't hold itself. So there's really no point in this accessory. And as I mentioned before, you could have either included an angry head sculpt, you could have included some sort of, maybe the gripping hands, I guess, or you could have even included an unmasked Peter Parker head. Sorry. Now, is that too much to ask? Maybe, but like, maybe not this. This is just lazy. But yeah, overall, outside of that really ugly web accessory, it's honestly really cool. It's really nice and refreshing to get a Spider-Man figure with actual pairs, proper pairs of hands, and not just like, oh, you only get maybe one pair of Thwippies and something like that. I'm going to show on screen here the best example of how to not give a Spider-Man proper pairs of hands with the Miles Morales figure from the mini comics wave. Ugh, no, don't do that. Don't do that. That is so bad. It's ugly. And not even ugly, it's just, it just ruins the accessory count because of that stupid mini comic. But overall, mini rant aside, it's good. Outside of this, it's good. Now let's move on to the articulation. Okay, so articulation is a really interesting thing to talk about because most Spider-Man figures are very well articulated. Renew Your Vows, and of course the Maximum Series Spider-Man, as I'll show on screen right here. But the thing is, this one had a lot of people kind of upset about it because there was no drop-down hips, there was no butterfly joint, and the diaphragm isn't very good. Now, granted, does that make or break? Does that break the figure? Does that lower it some points? A little bit, but to be honest, you can still get a good amount of posing. I think my main issue is just the articulation that was given in terms of the neck and the head. And thanks to this other YouTuber, which I'm going to put on screen here, he made a mod on this figure, which honestly kind of proves that if just fixing the diaphragm and fixing the head solves every single problem, solves the articulation problem, in my opinion. It won't give you everything, but it will give you a good amount. At least it'll give you at least most of the poses. Now, let's start with what I mean. The head is on a dumbbell joint instead of the disc. So he can't really look up that much, as you see right here. And he can't really look down that much. You can look down pretty well. And of course he can tilt and it can swivel. Arms are on a rotation joint. They can go out. They can go in just fine. And there is a bicep swivel right here, along with a double jointed elbow. And of course, hinge joint swivels at the wrists. Of course, as mentioned before, there is a diaphragm joint, but it's sort of pointless. He can't really go back, but he can actually go. He can go back for some reason, but he can't really go forward, which makes no sense. He can tilt, as seen right there, and actually, but he cannot, and of course he can go all the way around, no problem. And of course there is an ab crunch joint, which is actually not that bad. So you can get back down, you can crouch forward this far and lean back about this far. Now, he doesn't have drop-down hips, but he just has ball joints at the hips that can go up, not too much back, and a beautiful spread. There is a thigh swivel here, double jointed knee kicking right up to his bum. Hopefully you can see on camera. And of course, there is a calf swivel here, and a hinge joint pivot on the ankle. So yeah, posability, not all that great. Of course, you can't really, in terms of comparing it to other Spideys. But to be honest, you can still hit it. You can still hit poses like this. It's just the hands and everything, you know, it's kind of a bummer. He can't really look up too much, and his diaphragm joint kind of limits it. But in terms of like giving out drop-down hips, nah, I mean, you can still hit this. Maybe he just needs toe joints, but like, you know, is that the end all be all? I don't think so. And yeah, you can still hit poses like this. You can hit poses like this, which I'll probably show on screen and kind of intercut with all of them. But anyways, yeah. You can hit this pose, so there's no problem. All right, anyways, now let's move on to the size comparison. All right. So, oh boy. This figure stands almost at 6.5, almost, yeah, maybe 6.2 inches, 6.3, maybe. Yeah, about that range. But anyways, as for some size comparisons, here is the black suit Spider-Man, the Gamerverse version compared to the Gamerverse Miles, and they scale pretty well. And of course, as I'm going to actually grab it, here is the Marvel Legends Carnage from Let There Be Carnage, and he scales very, very well with Carnage. I know he's not from the video game, but honestly, this is really cool. Just seeing this Peter go up against Carnage here is pretty cool. And of course, as usual, here he is compared to your average 6-inch scale figure. We have the Marvel Legends Civil War Captain America. So yeah, he scales really well. He can fit on either your comic display, your video game display, even your movies display. It works very well. And yeah, that's all I really got to say about the size comparison. Now let's move on to my final thoughts. Kind of hitting the awkwardest pose here, but that's to show he's roaring. He's roaring because this guy kind of roars in the actual game, which is honestly kind of terrifying, to be honest with you. But anyways, is this figure worth it? As the only Gamerverse black suit Spider-Man out there, I'd say yeah, it's worth it. Even with the flaws of the articulation and all, I actually just can't help but have fun with this one. I genuinely don't think it's that bad. Yes, it is. The articulation is bad. Yes, well, bad in a sense compared to other Spideys, but it's not the end of the world. It can still hit really good poses. Yes, the accessories, in my humble opinion, are kind of dookie and are kind of, ass. They're really, I don't think we really need a web accessory. We could have had a sort of, I don't know, an unmasked head or something. But other than that, I mean, and yeah, it could have been glossy like in the game, but it's not too bad. In reality, it's a very fun black suit Spider-Man figure. Is it as good as the retro or the Secret Wars version? No, obviously not. I think those versions are definitely a lot better than this one, as they're using the retro mold and the Amazing Fantasy mold. But this one is not that bad, and it's probably my second favorite black suit Spider-Man figure. Granted, I don't have the Secret Wars Spidey, but this is not a bad figure. And if you can, definitely get it. Regardless whether if you like the game, whether you've played the game, if you like the game, or if you're just a big fan of black suit Spider-Man, it's a very good figure. It's so much fun, and yeah, that's all I really got to say about it. So overall, I got to give it a solid 8 out of 10. Usually I don't give these sort of ratings that much, and I think I said in a video I won't be doing them anymore, but I'm gonna be real. If it's like stuff like this, where if I have like notes already of them, then there's no biggie. I could just probably copy and paste them. So boom, there it is right here. So yeah, that's all I really have to say about this figure. And yeah, that's really all I have to say. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. I am trying to get to 1K so we can do some very awesome things. I might do a special for that. And until then, I will see you guys next time on the next review. And continuing my Jurassic marathon, or my road to Rebirth, I will continue with the review of the Hammond Collection T-Rex. So until then, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.